guys, today I'm exploring solar system. So in the middle we have a star. It's the most hottest thing and called the sun. The sun is the most hottest. And then we have Mercury. These are the four rocky planets. And we have four gas giants. We'll talk about them after we tell about the four rocky planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Then we'll have the four gas giants is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The first planet is the Mercury. It's the closest and the smallest. It takes 3 months to orbit, and each 3 months you would have a birthday. And it's 60 Earth days on the day on Mercury. Then we have Venus. And did you know it's the most hottest? So it looks like it's cold, but it really isn't. It's so hot it melts everything. So it's very hard to explore it. So if you try to explore it, you would awfully melt. That's how hot it is. So astronauts tried going on putting rovers on Mars, but they didn't last long. They melted. That's why it's very hard to explore it. And that's Venus. Then we have Earth. Earth is the only type of planet that has life. It has 3% of water, 3/4 of water, and then it has some land. And it's the perfect distance for animals to live in humans. And then we have Mars. Mars has volcanoes, but they're not active. The biggest volcano was bigger than New Mexico. And you know what? It's even bigger than Mount Everest. And then we had the four gas giants. And before we start with that, did you know that Mars, people to a special name? If you like to call it, you can call it the red planet because it's so red. Pretty cool, right? Then we have the four gas giants. Before we start about that, they have an asteroid belt around it. So if asteroid goes against asteroid, they get chipped to make a meteor, and they fall down to Earth. Just like dinosaurs. They chip, make a strong meteor, then make dust, and they die. Because the plants died, herbivores died, carnivores died, everything died. Then the first gas giant is Jupiter. It's the biggest one. And it has lots of poison gases. So, the most and worst storm was the red spot. And it's let me see what it is. Right, if you can see it, it can be right here. That's the red spot. And you know what? The Jupiter. So on Earth we have only a few hours of storm, but Jupiter has centuries. That is pretty cool. Then we have Saturn. So why all the gas giants have rings, but this is the rings are only visible to the rings around it are only visible to us. And then on Saturn again, there's poison. All the gas giants have poisonous gases. And what are these made of? They're made of ice, dust, and rock. And that's very hard. Then we have Uranus. So, first what it was called is George, after King George died. So, but then they call it Uranus, this god of the sky. But then scientists believe that something knocked it over because it spins on its side, not in a circle. Then the last gas giant is Neptune. It's the coldest and the windiest, and it's the darkest. So it takes 165 years for a birthday. And that is a long time. What? And so it matters about how, it's very far away from the sun. And about the asteroid belt, it's 100 miles. So it takes a lot of time for it to to orbit the sun. Okay, so the planets are amazing, right? So I know it's really cool, but one time, when I grow up, I'm gonna be an astronaut because I want to explore the world. And our galaxy is called the Milky Way, and there are hundreds of galaxies out there, and people want to explore, and I'm gonna discover them. Subscribe to Nathan the Science Kid.